Good morning. How's everybody doing today? I am wide awake. Psych.
I was about to say, I was like, man, then you're doing better than me because I laid in bed and I looked over at the clock and it said 7:40, and I'm like, I'm good. And then I saw it say 8, and I was like, it doesn't take me that long to get ready. And then it was like 8:15. I'm like, okay,
We gotta go. Yeah, I had a very leisurely morning, but I got up. I was up at like 7:15.
That's not too shabby.
And I like tootled around the house. But yesterday was full of excitement because my toilet broke and was flooding my house. So that happened.
That was an adventure.
Yeah, especially since I was working when it happened. So I had to like go. I had to like let my boss know and be like, "Hey."
But the thing is, if you were actually physically at work and you got a phone call, "Hey, this happened," you would have had to go home anyways.
Yeah, well, and that's what one of my coworkers was saying. She was like, "It could have been worse. You could have been at the office, and it could have just been like going all day."
Yes,
and you find it when you get home. And I was like, that would have been worse.
That would have been much worse.
Fortunately, I was able to get it fixed quickly and inexpensively. And then I just, had to dry everything out. And yeah. But it's okay. Things are back together now. Also, school is done for the semester.
Yay! How long of a break do you have?
Till the fall. I'm not exactly sure when
that is. You're not doing summer classes?
I need a minute.
I don't blame you.
I'm tired.
Let's breathe.
Yeah. Ooh, I should probably get a timer.
Oh, yeah. By the way, do you have a fan going on in the background?
That's my dryer.
Your dryer? Okay. Because at first I was like, man, she's got crickets. And I'm like, it's kind of early.
Yeah, my dryer sounds terrible, but it is effective.
Yeah. My dryer sounds fine, but every single load has to be run twice.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. And it was funny. My husband and I talked, like making jokes of if we were getting a divorce or something. And I was like, you get the washer and dryer. He's like, you get it. Like, we were both like, no, I'm not keeping it.
Oh, that's funny. Like, listen here. No, yeah, it sounds like that all the time. And the only other thing is it's got a little piece of plastic that's chipped off on the inside, so it'll sometimes like hang up finer materials. So I have to put anything nice in a garment bag.
Yeah, those garment bags are saviors, though. Because I even used them when I was traveling for work. I would use them for my socks because I was like, I'm not having a situation where I run out of socks because one keeps on missing. So I had a garment bag just for socks, so that way I knew they were all there and paired.
That's a good idea. I should do that. So far I just use it for anything that could potentially get snagged, but
yeah.
Share a screen.
All right. So I guess now is a good time to share the prompt. Yes. I'll also post it in the chat under your name. It's fine.
Do it.
Pretend I'm you. All right. Prompt is war on foreign soil. Words to include are amputated, global, curtain, banana, carbonate, calisthenics. That one is going to be, I think, my trouble one. Patriot, walnut, fixture, and Bluetooth. I'm going to have to look up calisthenics too, just to make sure I got like a...
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one myself. Let me see. Find Gymnastic exercise to achieve bodily fitness and grace of movement.
Okay, so kind of like rhythmic dance type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Dog, stop.
No.
Oh man.
Okay. I think we're ready.
Maybe I still don't feel like it's one of those where I'm like, man, I should have been awake longer. I'm opening up my blank document right now to put this in. At least we're not doing a challenge right away. Whew, let's glide
Oh
into
gosh,
the day.
yeah. I would not be ready for that.
All right. All right. I think I can do it. I might drag it out and then be like, oh wait, I need 5 more minutes. I'm on my last line. As I always do.
But we don't have to talk about that.
I don't have to call ourselves out that early.
Morning, Maggie. How are you? We're about to jump into sprint number 1. We'll begin in 3, 2, and 1. I think maybe you jinxed me because hey Eva, I need like 2 more minutes. And I started writing a story and then scrapped it like halfway through because I hate everything about it.
I've done that. Like it was a story. It was talking about everything that happened before the photo. It took me 3 tries, 3 to finally get the story right. But I'm happy with this one. It took a little bit, but and the words were a little harder, like carbonate, and was one that was a little. I didn't use Bluetooth. You SOB.
I feel like I'm missing a word, but I can't figure out which one it is.
Okay. Well, I can figure out Bluetooth. And actually, there's more to the ending, I think, but this is an okay stopping point.
Yeah, I think mine is kind of a cliffhanger. I'm going to send it to you. But
like, I have an idea, but we can talk about ideas of where it could go.
Yeah.
Afterwards. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I kind of forgot about the prompt itself. Like it's implied, but at the same time, not.
Happy Mother's Day. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. I've always felt weird. I don't like being center of attention like ever. And Mother's Day to me, everyone's like, there's people who want to do the like spa day thing, which yeah, I'm totally down for like a massage. But there's people that want to do that, and then there's the people who are like, it's Mother's Day, let me celebrate with my kids. I'm like, just leave me alone. Don't ask me to do anything. Like, don't plan anything for me, but also don't expect anything from me.
Yeah.
All right. I just sent. It might have come from my personal email, but it's fine.
I'm not sure. I think I sent it to the right one.
I had a brainstorm this morning. Adam Stevenson, one of the Scottish writers, he shot me a message and was like, "Hey, you do those videos about avoiding cliches. I got one for you. I don't want to jinx it, but..." And he texted me that like I saw it right as I woke up at like 8:12, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll brainstorm." Well, I also forgot that he's been awake for like 6 hours, and he's probably waiting for it. So later he texted me and was like, "I think I'll do this," and I'm like, "Dude, that's still a cliche. Hold on." And so during that sprint, not only did I write the story, but I also started listing cliches or things to counter the cliche of ways to say it. And the one that I liked the best was, well, if words manifest reality. I think that was my favorite one. The other one was not to say the one thing that would ruin this, but... All right.
Hi, Stig. How are you? Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Stig. All right.
I just told the family that they're taking the dog and going to a hotel for the night while I stay home would be perfect. I like that. You're like, listen,
yes.
This is my house.
Oh. All right. I got a coin. William Shakespeare can be heads. The 20, because I got a euro. 20 cents can be tails. Which one do you want? And whoever wins their story will be read.
Shakespeare.
Okay, Shakespeare. It is cents. So my story will be read first.
I'm reading what Kat said. I've just sat here and I need to get water and fruit. You said that 30 minutes ago. Get up and go get you some nutrition and some hydration.
Go take care of yourself.
That's an order. I mean, not that I can do anything about it, but please.
You shall do this. Please.
If you want to. Okay, let me read your story.
All right.
I walk into the lab, arriving earlier than I normally do because I wanted to confirm our findings from yesterday. The fluorescent lights flickered. One bulb was missing from the fixture. There was an extra bulb next to the counter. We just never got around to putting it in. The breakthrough we had, stop it, Dobby. The breakthrough we had was much more important than the electricity we were using. We had figured out a way to use water instead of gas in vehicles with just one tablet. We're talking about removing our dependency on oil entirely. Genevieve was here before me, which was odd, but the odder thing was not her eating a banana in the lab. Technically, all food is banned from the area, but the flash drive she had in our calculations. Oh, Genevieve was here before me, which was odd, but the odder thing was not her eating a banana in the lab. Technically, all food is banned from the area, but the flash drive she had in our calculations computer. What are you doing? I asked her as I sat my messenger bag down by the counter. I recognize we did something great here. Her hand hovers over the thumb drive. I nod for her to continue. But we have to look behind the curtain of what this could do to the entire world. Multiply country economics that are reliant on oil. They will crash and be set back to pre-1900s. Her eyes darted between the computer screen and me as she spoke. I leaned against the computer. So the future of the human race is worth less than oil-based economics? Genevieve rolled her eyes. Don't play Callinesthetics argument with me. You know as well as I an scientific problem must be evaluated at all angles. She raised her voice. I am a global patriot. You're amputating me in the advancement of civilization. I stood up, squaring myself between her and the door. I'm just taking some code. She pulled out the thumb drive. I look her up and down. Yeah, and how much are you being paid for that code? Her eyes widened for a second. She shook her head and walked to the door, but stopped in front of me since I was in her way. You found out yesterday how making the water carbonated was part of the solution. You can find out other ways to save the world too. I deleted your files, so you'll be starting from scratch. She sidestepped around me. I called out to her. I still have the equation. Up here. She turned. I tapped my temple. What are they going to do? Crack my head like a walnut to get it? Her eyebrows lowered as her lips turned down. As your friend, I promise to tell them that. But also, as your friend, I recommend you don't do anything with it. Ooh. Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, don't tell her that you know it by heart. Don't do it. Also, the part about cracking my head like a walnut, I like that one. I also feel like that was the exact wrong thing to say because yes, they will.
they totally freaking will.
Yes, they will. You should have been like, oh no. You stole my formula. Whatever will I do?
Throw in the line of like, please don't throw me in the briar patch.
Hi, Grumpy Mama.
Hey, dear. How's it going?
I can't with that story, though. That was really good.
Here's the thing that I left off on. So I had this mind that the main character was going to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kept on talking about the fluorescent bulb by the counter. She was going to take it and crack it over the skull of Genevieve.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. Oh my God, I didn't realize. So naming her Genevieve, there's the Geneva Convention, which was supposed to be peace.
Mm-hmm.
And how Genevieve now, wow, that was a subconscious thing. Whew. All right, cool.
I like it. And I kind of picked up on that a little bit.
Yeah. This is actually inspired by a story that I heard from a neighbor who heard from another guy. This other guy, he says, told the story of how his brother came up with this idea of how to use water as gasoline, and just by putting a tablet in the water gave it the properties that it needed. And some he said that some people showed up in suits and to see what it was like, and they went out on a boat to test it. And this guy, in tears in his eyes, says he has never seen his brother since. It's been over 15 years.
You know, I heard a very similar story. Completely in the well, anyway, moving right along to my personal FBI agent. Don't at me. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, what was his name again?
What was his name?
Did we call him Jerry or Tom or something? Or
something?
No, it was maybe
Fred.
Steve. It could have been Fred.
I don't know. Maybe it's a new person now, you know?
Yeah. They could have traded off.
Yeah. Got
question is, did you go higher up in the structure or lower because you were deemed not as not as much of a threat?
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Well, it could also be one of those like urban legend things, which, by the way, sounds completely believable. But I kind of trust this person, but at the same time, they also are known to embellish stories for the sake of drama.
Yeah, fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah, they're a really good storyteller, though.
Cat got the fruit cup. Yay. Discovered the stove has been on for probably hours because my roommate had to leave early because she walks for her graduation. Yay for graduation.
Yeah.
Glad you caught the stove being on.
Yeah. That's funny. I told so for my graduation, I didn't walk for my associates, and I didn't walk for my bachelor's, and I didn't walk for my master's. But when in between I got pregnant before I got my associates, and then had my daughter, and then for bachelor's, my husband and I were talking, and I was like, "Listen, I can either walk down the aisle or I can walk for graduation. You pick." Because I was like, I'm not doing both. I don't like doing those pomps and circumstance things.
Yeah. Mine will be in December. I don't think. I mean, it's an associate's. Send me a piece of paper. I'd rather do something else.
Yeah.
Than sit for a whole day, wear a robe, and it's like.
Regarding the story, I did notice that of places when you were reading out loud where I was like, I should have put a she said at least. Mm-hmm. Like there were some things like that. I got better near the end where I felt like it was a little clearer due to actions being done at the same time as the dialogue, but still.
Yeah, there were a couple places where the word choice was a little confusing to read. Like, I know what you meant, but like I just had a hard time getting the words out.
Yeah.
Why is my little boyo so freaking cute?
So you don't kill him.
It's true. It is true.
That's why they make babies cute.
It helps.
Because otherwise they're horrible. I mean, they scream at you, especially toddlers. They scream at you. What you do for them isn't enough, or it's not what they wanted when it's exactly what they asked for. Aww. Kat walked last year but didn't get a degree due to a failed class, but she will now have her degree because finally done with the bachelor's. Yes. I
don't know about that because I had a class where everything was due on the 5th, and I signed in at 10:30 to finish up my assignments, and the entire class was gone.
Wow.
So I emailed the professor, nothing. Emailed my advisor, and she gave me the department head. So I emailed the department head, haven't heard anything back. So I don't know. And the professor never posted any grades for the class either. So I really don't know.
That's odd. Yes, Spencer.
That is mine. You don't even like smoothies.
Oh yeah, close it. Thank you. My back door was open.
Our brains see our children as more adorable than others see them at too. Oh, that's interesting. That also makes sense.
That makes me think of the line that was in Mythbusters, but I've used it in life a lot, where it's I reject your reality and substitute my own.
I like it.
Yeah, and that sounds like it. Where my brain just said, "This is going to be your reality."
Yeah, I think my favorite line. This is one where I got really confused.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Genevieve was there before me, which was odd. Period.
Yeah.
Odder than that was, so this is where it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, that word, like I did a colon in there, I got a comma and stuff like that. Like it was a get it down, and then I'll finagle it later.
So one thing I think would be interesting would be like the main character is like eating something on the way into the office because they are going in earlier than usual, and make a point of them throwing it away and saying all food is banned from the lab, so I toss my whatever before I get in there. Yeah. And then pointing out that it's really odd that Genevieve is eating in the lab.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of foreshadows that part, so that when you say the only thing odder than Genevieve eating in the lab was the flash drive she had in our calculations computer.
Perfect. Okay. I like that setup. This is why I'm glad we do videos, so that when it comes to editing, I just got to go back and rewatch.
Yeah. No, I think that would help with that
flow.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also think it reduces what you have to do, but it also kind of starts to lead in that direction.
Yeah. And what do you think about now, instead of the story ending of like the friend saying, I recommend you don't, that after that line, Genevieve turns and leaves because she's at this point, she knows she's not going to be fought. And I could throw in a line that maybe Genevieve is taller than the main character, so there's a little intimidation factor physically. But that's when the main character takes the fluorescent light bulb and swings it over Genevieve's head. Then end scene.
I like that.
Yeah.
I also feel like maybe because it's a broken light bulb at that point, there's something about like blood being on the, and then it casually being like a bring back to the whole like food. Maybe there's a reference to why you can't have food in the lab. So then the character kind of wonders if blood has the same, I don't know, maybe that's too much.
Characteristics and
yeah. Or like something along the fact that the lab won't be used again, or something general about what happens to the lab.
Yeah, like the building will be demolished or something. I don't know, but then food wouldn't matter, but I don't know.
Maybe not that drastic, but like relating to the project and how Dobby quit.
Your southernness came out for a second. Quit.
I said something yesterday that I was just like, I said that. That was so southern.
I'm laughing. Southern accents are funny when we don't use them all the time, and then they slip out. You don't know. You were born in Germany, dude.
Ooh. What Kat says, something about decontamination.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That could be a good point, because it's got to be decontaminated anyway.
Yeah.
So if all she has to do is clean up the blood enough that the decontamination will take care of any bioluminescent residue.
Yeah.
Or black light residue. There we go. Or something like that.
Yeah.
The ill and eel sounds get me with the accent sometimes. Yeah, I know I'll get my accent sometimes with, instead of saying bye, if I'm tired or pissed off or something, it'll come out as bye. So,
Yep. It do be like that.
yeah, attitudes. But sweet. Okay, we got some ideas of where this could go, and I really like that. What is Spencer watching? Oh, some Paw Patrol thing. Okay. So now, Chandra's story. As long as there's nothing else to add.
I think that's what I have for now.
Okay. I left out Bluetooth, so I'll also try to think of how that changes and everything. Ooh, I could add some height to it, and maybe Genevieve talks into her Bluetooth, so that way, the main character has someone else to deal with. Or there's the pending of having to deal with someone else
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Or
Then
maybe
there also might be cameras.
another thing is like you could build it into the routine of throwing away the food that the main character's eating and turning off their Bluetooth since the lab is
Genius. All right. Yeah, like putting away cell phone and taking off Bluetooth watch or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they can't take it in. And then that makes it even odder that there's a flash drive. You're like, what?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. Back to your story. Sorry. Everyone said it would be good for me to do some calisthenics. You know, get the blood moving.
Wait, sorry. That's the part that I needed. So you can read both of them, but it'll just show you what a drastic turn. There's like a little dash. You can still read it, but that's the part that I didn't finish. So
gotcha. Okay, we'll just go with it. Do some calisthenics. You know, we could actually brainstorm both stories here. Either way, do some calisthenics. You know, get the blood moving and find some endorphins. Everyone said I just needed to think positive thoughts, get some sun, shower, and get more sleep. They said if I did these things, I would feel better, more myself. I wouldn't be sad all the time. I'm not depressed, you know. I just get a little sad. Yeah, thanks. I never thought of that, I muttered to myself. I put in my Bluetooth headphones and step out on the sidewalk. It's still early, but I want to beat the rush of early morning joggers in my neighborhood. I don't want to see anyone, not after what happened. Who would have thought that morning exercise class would have turned into a war on foreign soil? Not literally, but like turf. Like, I'm not on their side and I can't go there anymore. I'm not welcome there. Well, the war part is pretty accurate. At least one person lost a limb, and there's a chance that Becky will have to get a finger amputated before the curtain falls on the story. I keep telling myself that the ostracization isn't global. I could go anywhere, but I know I won't. Okay, story 2. I go through my morning ritual. Bluetooth headphones, calisthenics, then a banana for breakfast. I turn off the news because I'm so tired about hearing about the war on foreign soil. It's not that I'm not a patriot. I just can't think about it anymore, and neither can he. I probably stand I couldn't probably stand it myself, but I can't see the look on his face knowing he can't go back when that's what he wants more than anything. His team is over there, and he can't stand being here instead of supporting them. I can't stand looking at him knowing he'd rather be with them than with me. Logically, I know isn't that simple, but sometimes it feels like it is. I make him breakfast. I know he won't eat. Walnut pancakes with syrup. I make him breakfast I know he won't eat. Walnut pancakes with syrup. It used to be his favorite. I run some tap water through the fountain so it will carbonate. Then I put it in the fridge. He'll have that with his lunch. It's not easy to put the global crisis out of my mind when he is an ever-present reminder of it. I want to forget it ever happened. All he wants to do is remember. He wheels into the kitchen without his prosthetics, knowing I prefer he wears them. It's hard to look at when they amputated his legs. I turn back and push open the curtain that drowned the light from the kitchen window. How did you sleep? I ask. When I turn around, I stare past him at the light fixture behind his head. Whew. think I've seen that. Like that story resonates for sure. I know a lot of military people who life is simpler for them when they're fighting because it's their family is the people that they're getting deployed with, they uh, and they know what their job is. They know what's expected of them. There's no conflict really, in the sense of internal conflict, but being home, they don't. The work life balance is harder and everything, and especially when the work is taken away from you because you're amputated, you still feel like, no, I can do it. Look, you gave me prosthetics. I can stand. I can go. I can run in these, and the government still says no, you can't. And I like that this is written from the spouse's point of view. And I think from the spouse's point of view, where it's like they fall on the list of priorities, they're so low, but at the same time they almost don't want to be higher and anything because they can't even look at them. Like, it's a reminder, even if they were a higher priority, just like looking at them and being reminded of everything that's going on in the world, it's difficult for them. What I would find interesting, and this is just like my personal preference situation and it would completely change the story. Not completely, but it would, is that there is a lot more women in the military, and there's a lot of two military members married to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And how would that dynamic work if the main character, I'm assuming she, was still in and serving, and he was medically out because he was amputated and everything, like where his jealousy possibly too, and maybe her like survivor's guilt or something. Maybe he has survivor's guilt because he actually made it out where he had friends who didn't, and stuff. Like, there's a lot of dynamic here emotionally. Mm-hmm. But with this, the second story is definitely better than the first, I will say. The first made me think of like that it would have gone a funny route of like a turf war between like two aerobic studios or something.
Yeah.
And like and then like they got caught in the middle of it, and they didn't they lived next to one, but they didn't know because when they did a Google search, the closest one showed the other or something. And when they found out that where the main character was from, they thought that the main character was a spy or something really poorly done then. And they ran out and ran into the other aerobic studio who was about to confront the first one for pushing off their cyber footprint somehow, so that only the main studio showed instead of the other one. Like,
that would be interesting.
Like, my mind just went crazy.
No, I got to that point and I was like, I honestly don't care about this story.
Yeah. No, and that totally happens. Like, I mean, hell, in one of Barrett's last videos, he was talking about just not loving a story. Like, yeah, he finished it, but he just doesn't love it. And he may love it later, but right now he doesn't. And I feel like it's part of the cycle and stuff. We can always go back. But I also feel like when you that's where I feel like a writing community and us doing these things where we workshop together would be like, well, how could it be interesting? How could we love this again? And so I feel like talking through it is helpful.
Yeah. I with that one, it was very Stepford Wives in my head. And I would need the first part to actually play out to where there's like some kind of physical altercation in the studio during a class where the main character does something crazy and now can't go back. But like the crazy thing, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Well, like, and she's gonna defend herself. Like if people are accosting her, because I can see it. What if okay, we're gonna make this like give me two towns. Like we're gonna say Riverdale and Fairbanks. Those are the so Riverdale and Fairbanks. I don't know why those popped in my head. Especially Fairbanks. Like, why does Fairbanks, Alaska apply in this? Right there. So she lives in Fairbanks and there is a studio there, but their website was like cyber attacked. So it automatically went to the Riverdale studio. And she just happened to be searching during the cyber attack so that she thought the closest aerobic studio was Riverdale. She goes there and is having her first class. And that's when Fairbanks people come to the aerobics class to confrontation with Riverdale. And she sees her neighbor in the class. And her neighbor recognizes her. And her neighbor's like, what are you doing here? And then the Riverdale class looks at her and it's like, you're from Fairbanks? And she's like, yes, what does that matter? You know, totally not knowing what she's in.
Oh, that's funny.
And then from there, it could be like a brawl breaks out. And then, of course, she's not attacking anyone, but she is defending herself.
Mm-hmm.
Type situation. And then
and then like someone badly breaks a leg. And then
like compound fracture, bone sticking out, not to be too graphic.
And then someone else has like their finger crushed in a weight, and so like because it's that serious, like they don't know if they're going to be able to save the finger.
And then you can make the fights funny because you like if it was a boxing class, you'd expect people to do well, but since it's aerobics and they're like people are doing twists and turns, trying to be like fancy with it, but it just.
Well, and I'm thinking like Stepford
like a ballet fight from West Side Story.
Like, you know, the washing machine one.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then aerobics classes have like music in the background. So it's some like aerobics song in the background playing that just like is supposed to be happy-go-lucky, but everyone's fighting and like has the contorted faces like ah.
Oh, and the instructor's like a Jane Fonda looking person.
Oh my God, the leotards, the full body spandex, where the underwear like thong is outside the spandex pants and leg warmers. Oh my God, you better have leg warmers and high top shoes. And then Kat is saying PTA soccer moms and imposing sides.
That's funny.
See, this is what we do. The first story, the point is, if anybody learns from anything, listen, what you need to do, this is why writing communities are important. And it's not just like writing community, it could just be Chandra and I just talk to each other, okay? Like we brainstorm and everything. And yes, my idea started of where this could go, but then it inspired Chandra to throw in more comments and stuff, and it sparked her. So you see how just having one friend talk through an idea is helpful. I was saying, I was messaging Adam earlier about how to counter the cliche, not to jinx it, and I sent him like 8 of them and he only liked 2 of them, but that's fine. Those 2 sparked him to write something like, this is what our community does for each other, is because most like jobs across the world, you're not in a bubble. You're not making decisions by yourself. You can talk to people. Someone's gone through it and everything. So either way. And now you got to write the story.
Oh, thank you.
If Dobby will let you. Oh, he's so cute.
It's not really looking like it.
No.
Get up on the desk.
I just want to be close to you.
I just want to pretend to be close to you so I can get on the desk and stick my face in your smoothie.
Talking about me, Mom?
And I'm just here irritating him.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to actually dress my cats up in my doll clothes.
I'm the one who complains about him all the time, but I'm like annoying to him as much as he annoys me.
Like siblings. But yeah, so this first story can have a comedy aspect. The second story definitely has that drama, and then I gave you a few ideas of how to up the drama and more conflict that can be in there. But
I think the second story would be one where I could write it from the main character's perspective and then write it again from the husband's perspective.
I think both would be really good. And then like what if you gave him a hobby, like or like the main character gave him like something like model cars to paint or put together and something, and he's like, I guess this is my life now, like, you know, and but he sucks at it or something.
What if he's not like, what if she is intuiting his feelings on it, but that's not actually how he feels at all?
Yeah, like the turmoil he has is because he doesn't have the right paintbrush size for the little model car.
That it would be really cool if he does still work, but it's like CIA kind of stuff, because he's an unlike, like, people wouldn't suspect him.
Yes.
So he still feels fulfilled, but he can't tell her what he does. So she's intuiting all of these things, all of this emotion that she thinks he's feeling, but he feels fulfilled in a different new way that he just can't tell her about. So he lets her stew and go through all of this stuff, but he's working on something else.
No, I'm not done. Here's an idea that with the CIA, I love that idea, like an informant or something, or somebody who just follows. So there's the show called The Flight Attendant, where she becomes in the second season, like CIA informant and follows people. But here's the thing, something to consider is that normally you want someone, if you're tailing somebody or whatever, you want someone who blends in. And a double amputee wouldn't quite blend in, but at the same time, he also wouldn't be suspected. So the key is where will
he blend in so he's not?
Yes. Well, and not blend in like around a whole bunch of amputees, but at the same time, also, he has his prosthetic, so he could blend in multiple ways, where he's sitting at times in a wheelchair in a place because maybe it's a park, and he'll blend in a little bit more there. Then other times he's in a business suit standing in his prosthetics, but the pants cover it, so you don't know. And then and he shaved off his beard that he had when he was in the wheelchair.
Ooh, and so he's like, he encourages her to go out and leave him, and she doesn't want to go because she's like, oh, you know, is he going to be okay? But he actually needs her to leave the house so that he can go work.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why do we still I just thought of a comedy aspect to this. I don't know why, but this is what I do.
He's like, please leave.
Yeah. But what if he has personal guns and she has hidden them from him, and she's like, he'll never find them and stuff like that, but he knows exactly where they are, and and he's got to use them, but he makes sure to put them back so she thinks that he hasn't touched them and stuff. Like, it could be,
there's really a lot I could do with that story.
Yeah, both of them could be multiple aspects and facets here.
Might play with it. Maybe I'll write the same story like 4 different ways, just for fun.
Funsies.
I like it.
All right, so I'm assuming you're going to use that Google Doc later, so I'm going to keep it open so you don't have to resend it to me. But I need to open up our spreadsheet.
I just turned my chair to start typing on my document. I didn't realize Dobby was about to try to jump into my chair. So his claws missed where he went to jump. Poor baby. That was funny though.
That is funny. All right. Create iron writing prompts. Open sesame. Anytime now.
Y'all, if you want to start throwing out some letter and number combinations A through Z, 1 through 60.
Mm-hmm. And throw out multiple. Don't feel like you're held to one.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my daughter spent the night last night, so I don't have her to lean on like I normally do. All right, I'm going to gray out the ones we've selected previously. Excuse me. Okay, there we go.
What about C3?
2 seconds. I highlight yellow when we select it, but when it's old, I have to go back and change them all to...
Will you put that in the folder? Because I was looking for it, and I don't think it was...
I've been meaning to do that, and you keep on reminding me like every week, and I'm like, yeah, I'll totally do that. Whoops.
But also, that way I can add words to it.
Yes. The main thing is that you'll be adding words because the highlights don't stay in Google Docs. I'll tell you that much.
They don't?
Mm-mm. I remember one time. That's why the first time I couldn't make it, I had to email you. All right. So the first word is charisma.
Okay. L3.
L3. School. Give me a number for you. We haven't used anything out of you.
17.
17. Minx. That's a fun word.
What about U22?
By the way, U2 is taken too. But nowhere for 22. What do we have from the chat? She's going to disappear.
Okay, thank you for coming by.
Have fun, dear.
Congratulations to the roomie.
Yep.
What
did I say that word was? Nowhere. Okay. Yeah, Spencer, what do you need? No, I'm not done. All right.
What about J60?
Heyo. Insist.
Insist?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't picked one yet.
All right. I saw M and N were low, so let's do M23. Michael Jordan 23. More, like MOOR. What is that again? I added that word on here, and isn't that like a swamp type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think is it like a brackish swamp? Let me check.
Yeah, let's double check that. All right, and then for
uncultivated upland, a heath. Okay. So more. Well, actually, it's as a noun. Heath would be more like the scrub brush, like English, maybe Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to make fast, so like tying a boat to the dock or something like that, or a pier. More to
that's
the pier.
A noun?
Yes.
Okay.
Or A member of the northwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent.
Okay, so I will not be doing it that way.
So there's a couple options. Hi, Mia. Welcome, welcome. We are prepping for Sprint 2. If you want to throw number letter combinations out there, 1 through 60, A through Z.
Yep.
Or throw out a number for the prompt because we're going to need that too.
Yep. And that's between like 1 and 102, I think.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm going to do N45. Sprint. How fitting.
We need, let's see, 3 more.
Okay.
Ooh, B, 41B.
41B. Cloth.
Oh, we've got 88 for the prompt.
All right. Oh, and how many more on the words?
2 more.
2 more.
Let's do P2.
Point. That's a good word.
One more.
All right. Let's go back to you, and we're going to do 43. That's it. Wedge. All right. Now I'll jump over to the writing prompts and look at 88.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, we haven't done that one. When spice becomes bland. That could have multiple facets there. You just realize. Like it could be talking about taste. It could be talking about in a relationship.
What is our challenge?
Tell me, Smalls. Becomes bland. Writing all the characters as animals set during a historical event. Mostly because that would include doing some research a little bit. Reattack with 10 new words. That would be a prompt to do. Like take an old, that'd be a challenge to take an old prompt but put new words to it. Write it like a children's book. Write your MC completely alone. Have unnamed characters only. Cannot repeat any words other than articles. Use one word 10 times. No double letters. Use synonyms of the 10 words chosen.
Oh, I kind of like that one.
Use synonyms of the 10 words?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's definitely going to be some creativeness.
How do you spell synonyms?
SYNONYMS. Had to like over enunciate.
Use I can't speak. Use cinnamons. That's all I could think. And I was like, this is not. I could not spell because I could not stop thinking about use cinnamons.
Oh, there's so many words where I'm like, just get close enough and spell check save me.
Spell checks was like, you're on your own.
Yeah. All right. And then, so to reiterate to the chat, the The prompt is when spice becomes bland. The words to include are charisma, school, minx, nowhere, insist, more, sprint, cloth, point, wedge. All right, so we got this is sprint number 2, draft of prompt. Number 2 challenge is use synonyms of each word. I'll since I normally don't, I'm gonna have to definitely highlight this go around to make sure. And
Hi, Lauren. How are you? We're on sprint 2, just getting ready, getting the prompt and the challenge ready, and the words to include.
Yep. Okay. I got close enough for spell check. Even though we already had the word synonyms and I spelled it right in the Excel spreadsheet, typing it didn't work out.
We're only using synonyms.
This is great. I might even grab some food during this thing. Oh, I should probably save this too.
I am the struggle bus.
Yes.
Also, this is going to be extra tricky for me since I'm a purist and I usually only use the words as listed.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I will throw you a bone and say the prompt doesn't need to have synonyms to it, okay?
Thank you. Thank goodness.
I'm going to make that decision right now. But the 10 words will.
Which means you can't actually use any of the 10 words.
Technically not. And I'm gonna constantly have like the Saris website open because like charisma right now, I'm like personality. Like school, like what is another name for school? Prison?
Oh, I have a one for what? Okay, question on this. Instead of using a single word as the synonym. Instead of using a single word as the cinnamon, I'm done.
We'll just go with it. Yes.
For example, for school, could I use a phrase?
I think so. Yeah.
Like this illustrious establishment of education. Like it would be kind of probably sarcastic.
Yeah, no, do it. I want to see how fancy you're going to get with this.
I like it. I like it a lot. Oh my gosh. Do you know, I had a professor once tell me to put the thesaurus down.
Yeah.
I hadn't used a thesaurus. So now I get to break out all of my ridiculousness.
And you were worried about this, and now you're like, wait a second. Like for me, I'm going to have, this is going to be like synonym / context and everything. Like I got an idea for minx where it's going to be kind of like a phrase too.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So
okay.
I need nowhere. Like if we were doing antonyms, this would be so much easier because I'm like nowhere, anywhere. But no.
You know what? Oh, add that to the list as a challenge. Use only
antonyms.
Yeah.
All right, we can do this.
All right, where is the timer? Okay, this might be one of my favorite timers. BT Dubs, the timers we're using today are from Laura Nettles. Okay, doke. Let me share screen.
Hey, Lauren. Hey, so Lauren said school can feel like a prison. Listen, my dad has a theory, and now I can't unsee it. But if you do a bird's eye view of a school and a bird's eye view of a prison, they look the exact same. Buildings connected to other buildings, fences going around the entire establishment, like, and I'm like, oh my god, they have a little play area for,
Instead of a cell block, it's a wing.
Yeah. They got a play area, like usually both have basketball courts, both have like bleachers for sitting outside, like just saying. Ooh. Yeah, and so now I can't unsee it. Every time I drive past one, I'm like, School or prison. School or prison.
It makes sense now.
Mhm.
Hi, Nicole. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Nicole. Finding Nemo reference. Wait, when did I? Oh, the anemone. Yeah. I was like, when did I do that? I am so have Disney ingrained in my vernacular that
It doesn't
I
even
don't.
register
No,
anymore.
it doesn't register.
I have to say, though, by far my favorite Finding Nemo reference that I will sneak in anywhere is, "Oh, you made me ink."
Prisons and schools will both work for a zombie apocalypse shelter. Yes, they will. Both have cafeterias. I just had a thought of my husband and I, we quote Disney a lot, and it's really funny because there was one time he totally messed me. He said, "So Elastigirl had 3 kids. How hard do you think labor was?" And I'm like, "You son of a bitch!" Like, she probably didn't even need an epidural. Be like, no, we're at 38 weeks. Yeah, no, take them.
Just get out. Like, they didn't have to like be like, "Oh, I'm ready." She's like, "Eviction notice served." Oh, that's funny. That's
Oh my god! Like,
can't
there's
unsee that.
waiting for 10 centimeters doesn't exist.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
Here
we
we
can
go.
write. I'm gonna grab something to eat too.
In 3, 2, and 1. sprint number 2 complete.
So I feel like I channeled my inner Chandra.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have a disclaimer. But since we read mine first, I'm gonna read yours first. Let's go around. And then and actually to make it easier, I think I'm gonna throw mine at the end of the Google Doc since you have that open anyway.
Okay.
So that way it's easier. Like, feel free to delete mine when we're done.
Would anyone like a lightly used orange tabby cat?
I'll take him. Maybe he'll teach my son.
Ow, he's just very clawy today. Tomorrow is trim and meds day for both of them, so it's going to be a jolly good time. But maybe then he'll stop persecuting me.
Maybe, but let's not count our chickens. All right. Are you ready?
Ready, Freddy.
All right. I'm talking to my friend. My son's like, "What you say?" Not talking to you, buddy. All right. Prompt number 2. We're just, oh, wait, that's the words and stuff. Okay. Sometimes she had to remind herself that she hadn't gotten to the illustrious establishment of education for no reason. She was a requisite part, just like everyone else. She wasn't the charming debutante they usually inducted. She was far more likely to cast a scathing barb than anyone else. But still, she would rather be, though, impudent and cunning than impudent. Thank you. And cunning instead, cunning than be considered a delicate flower, only fit to simper and smile. Although she sometimes felt that there were no prospective successors in her future, she stayed. Often she wandered the heaths alone, the briars and scrub grass, catching her clothes and leaving marks on her skin. She didn't mind. It was sometimes the only indicator that she was real, an actual person, not just an imaginary being, the fabric of her life split between time and place. She tried to force the pieces into place, parts of her life that didn't fit. She had lost her connection. Things were going fuzzy around the edges, and she didn't know how to put them back together. When spice becomes bland, what does one even do? How does one begin to bring back the flavor in life? She wondered the inscrutable. God, wow, my eyes. Okay, inscrutable question burning in her mind till she couldn't breathe. If she could turn things around and careen past the obstacles that had taken her so long to overcome, she might be able to untangle the mess that she had. But what would the objective be? Her use was her ability to travel through time. She was expected, always, needed, used. They kept her, maintained her secret. But how did they know? How had they learned about her? They were always able to track her down how were they always able to track her down and bring her back? It was the one thing she had never been able to ascertain for sure. There were always more questions, no matter where she traveled, backwards or forward. There was always someone waiting for her. Ooh. Like, to me, it took this, like, we talked about Stepford Wives, but I'm trying to think of the movie. It had Emma Roberts in it, and it was on Netflix, and it also had the lead chick from Resident Evil. What's her name? Mia Jovovich.
Yeah.
And they are in this, and it also had Aquafina, but they're in this, like, reform location for rich kids who, like, don't fit the model person that their parents want them to.
Mm-hmm.
And they go there, and when they leave, they're better and they're more in the mold that they want them to be. And that's what the story kind of made me think of at the beginning of like, you got to be in the mold. It's prim and proper, and it's it looks like Eden, but it's actually a prison. And that's what it made me think of. In the movie, by the way, to ruin it, is that it's not the girls that go back. It's somebody who is who undergoes plastic surgery to look like the girls.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. That sounds good. I might go watch it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it. But either way, it's got Emma Roberts in it, and Awkwafina, and Mia Jovovich, and it was pretty recent. So either way. So the thing that got me is that it definitely started off in one way,
mm-hmm.
and then it ended up another way. So we were talking about suitors, we were talking about, and I kind of understand, like, she's not a charming debutante, like those I kind of, but then like the suitors' successes, prospective successes in her future, she stayed. Okay, never mind. Excuse me, my eyes are not working right today. I'm taking out my contacts later. Because for a second there, I was like, why is she talking about being with people? And then later she's talking about time travel. So back to that. I still like your creativity, like the fabric of her life, the forced pieces into place. Like, you kind of, first paragraph is like, I'm not like other girls. Second paragraph is, I try to be, and I can't. And then we start to talk about her feelings on that, of like, she's just not, she doesn't enjoy life as it is right now. And if she did, like, just go through the motions, what's the point and stuff? Like, yeah. I think the only words I was confused on was impudent.
Impudent.
Yeah.
So that was instead of minx.
Oh, okay. And then prospective success.
That was nowhere.
So saying no prospective success.
Instead of saying she was going nowhere.
There was no prospective success in her. Okay, tracking. Now I see it a little bit better. I liked Kareen passed instead of sprint. That was a really good one. I'm trying to. I think for me is I kind of wish the sci-fi element came sooner. Mm-hmm. Like maybe we hinted in saying like she maybe start with she always knew she was different, or she always had a gift, and then leave it at that and go through all this, and maybe bring up like she relied on her gift to help get her out of here.
Yeah. So the part that where I was starting to get into that maybe could be moved up earlier in the story, where I'm talking about her losing her grip on reality in the second paragraph, where she the fabric of her life being split and trying to put the pieces back together, but everything's getting fuzzy.
Yeah, I think that would be a definitely good point.
If I started with that, like maybe
make the second paragraph the first one and the first paragraph the second.
Yes,
is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, I think that would actually make quite a bit more sense, because then it would be like she didn't know how to put them back together. Sometimes she reminded herself that she hadn't got into this illustrious establishment of education for no reason. And then it would go from there were no prospective successes in her future she stayed. When spice becomes bland, what does one even do?
Yeah.
I actually think that would work really well.
Then I think that sometimes to remind herself she hadn't gotten to the illustrious establishment on education for no reason. Instead of she was a requisite part, that part should be like, that could be the gifts part, where you see a hint of it, she had certain gifts, or she was gifted, or something like that, and then just like everyone else was. That could tie it in, so that way you drop that tidbit of there's something different about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, and we start to think it's the, oh, I'm not like other girls different. Then it's like, oh, no, I can actually freaking time travel. I wasn't kidding. Which to me makes me think of the Entangled, when Eugene was like, her hair glows. Did you know her hair glows? Like that moment. It's like he knew she wasn't like other girls, but now he really knows.
Yeah. No, I like that. I do think it is kind of a fun way to turn a trope on its head of like, no, I'm not like other girls. Like, I can time travel. And we're like, oh, you're not like other girls because you can time travel. Versus the, I'm not like other girls. I don't like pink and I like to go fishing. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what would be really cool is it's not a change. It's what the question I was left with is, how did they find her? Who's finding her? Who is she trying to get away from? What is this bigger structure thing, you know? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, please. I want to know. So,
yeah, I
but that's the good question.
Figured that part out myself. Usually, I feel like I have some kind of background idea of what the answer is. No idea.
So it kind of makes me think of the movie The Adjustment Bureau, and that's got okay, yeah,
Anthony Mackie and
people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved that. Like, I love that premise of like, kind of like fated love, and in other universes or plans they were meant to be together, but now it's like, oh no, they won't. And it was supposed to be like a fleeting moment. That was the purpose, was the fleeting moment to make the great speech, not to actually know each other past that moment. And it's there's so many aspects to it. I like that type of stuff, the bigger plan.
Yeah. We ready? Let me do your story.
Yeah, I can take it.
Okay, we're back. Oh, we both used fabric. The fabric billowed behind her as she darted into the bedroom. Who knew that when she met him in the educational prison?
Trigger warning of domestic violence. Sorry.
Ooh, good call. She would be climbing into the cabinet of the bathroom sink now. He had the personality everyone gravitated towards. He called her Tiger, and she pressed herself between the soft toilet paper and the hard backstock bottles. It was this moment that she knew that she knew there was only two ways out of here, in a body bag or in a real prison until the trial. What is it her father used to say? Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Love that. His footsteps echoed on the wood steps. Come on, Cindy. I recommend you just come out now. Otherwise, I'm going to get madder the longer it takes to find you. She heard him enter the bedroom. Looking around her, she saw a wooden brush with hardened bristles. It was better than nothing. She grabbed it with her left hand since her right still hurt to grasp things. She slowly climbed out of the cabinet and peeked around the door frame to see him standing up, looking under the bed. Standing up from looking under the bed. His back was to her. This was her chance. As she raised the brush above her head, he turned. He widened his eyes widened as the brush came down, as if she had appeared out of thin air. The bristles scraped across his forehead, right eye, bridge of his nose, and part of his lips. It even pulled down his bottom lip slightly, giving more time to deepen the punctures. His mouth could also be open due to his scream that nearly deafened her. She turned to run, his nail scratching her calf, but she didn't look back for fear it would slow her down. It wasn't until she got outside that she realized she still had the brush in her hand. And speared on the bristles was his right eye. I like this.
Yeah, I had a few whoopsie daisy moments, but you got there. Thank you for adding eyes.
You're welcome. I tweaked a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
You probably see that.
Yeah.
I like your use of the words. I like the way that you use words. Oh gosh, it could be more specific. I like the way that you recreated the words. And I like the subject as well, because I think it's not your usual, not style, because it's always your style, but it's not your usual subject matter, but I think it's really well done. And the, yeah. Also, like her climbing into the cabinet, and where I paused because I really liked this line. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I like that one. That's a good one.
That's actually almost a cliche. Like, I've heard it growing up a lot, and it's usually used in when people are pro guns and pro open carry, or like protecting yourself. That's what they say. A lot.
Well, and also, but the other thing about it is, I feel like cliches in dialogue are different than writing the cliche in the narrative.
And this is a dialogue, and that's actually, I plan to do a video at some point of like when cliches are okay. And I'm like, when it's associated with the character, whether it's through dialogue, their own mentality and stuff
exactly,
like that.
Because it does provide some characterization and show what their background is by how they speak and what cliches they're familiar with.
Yes.
So I think that's a perfect use of it. And it also gives even though her dad is not a character, it gives a lot of characterization of her dad, which in turn shows a little bit about how she was raised. Like, she's not the person that everyone assumes would go through something like this. And so her response to it, yes, it does have that fortitude, but it's like, this can happen to anybody. This happens to people that you know all the time, and you just don't know about it. But just because someone comes off as being super tough and like they know how to carry themselves and they know how to handle themselves, and they grew up in a way where, like, you know, they're not afraid, you don't know their story.
Yeah.
I really like it. Also, I mean, this is very me, but I really like his eyeball being on the bristle.
That was the part where I wrote that, and I'm like, oh, hi, Chandra. I got it right here on my shoulder. Glad you could make it.
That was good.
Yeah.
No, that's.
I think
what
we did
got.
good. Like we got some workshopping of ways to make it change our stories, make them better, and everything. And both prompts today, and even I really like this challenge. I think it was really good. So, all right,
Yeah, this is one I would definitely want to do again.
Definitely, it's one of those that it's not a applying this challenge to any prompt is actually perfect because every 10 words is going to be different. So it's going to kind of be a new challenge in a way, not like retrying the same challenge. Like a children's book is trying the same challenge, or rhyming, I feel like it's almost trying the same challenge.
I think we should add a challenge
to antonyms.
Yes, well, one, we could use the same prompt, but the first time write it with the words, and the second time write it with antonyms. Or to take the same prompt and write it twice, but like each time is different.
I like that. I'll add those.
Some fun ones. Any hoosers, we got to wrap it up because
I'm Natalie Locke. Links are down below, and next Saturday will be on my channel. The end. I'll be live on Twitch Sunday night at 7 p.m.
My name's Chandra Arthur. I'm out of school now, so hopefully I'll be a real person again. This is my channel. You can find us here every other week. We start at 8:30 for Flash Fiction Live. You can catch 2 prompts, 10 words. We tell you what to do with it. You make the rest of it up. I don't know where that came from. We don't even say that.
I love that, though. Like, let's memorize that, and that's our tagline.
Love it.
We give you so much. Make the rest up. Yes. Okay.
And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.